Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real United States video blog, and I'm your host Paul Campbell, and welcome to the beginning of our series on Small Business America. And I'm sorry about the background noise, but one of the things that small businesses have had to cope with, on top of economic problems, is cities that are doing reconstruction. And in this city, I'm back in my hometown of Croswell, here in Michigan, and they're reconstructing the roads. So what you hear in the background is the paving equipment that's currently putting down asphalt not too far behind my camera operator Beverly's head, maybe 20 yards. We wanted to open this series with a very small business. It's an independently owned business. This is Keller TV and Appliance, Keller Home Center. Now, it's owned by Frank Keller. Now, Frank and I actually went to high school together, but this is the first time we've seen each other since he graduated high school. So that's about 38 years ago. So this is kind of a special opportunity for us. And one of the things we want to highlight is the fact that small businesses are very often sole proprietorships. They're individually owned, run by one or two people. In the United States, there's a rather complex system on what qualifies as a small business. Usually it's anything smaller than 500 employees, but that varies depending on the type of industry and the amount of gross revenues that they have. In other countries, it varies. In Australia, for example, as I understand it, a small business is any company with less than 50 employees. Anyway, for our purposes, it's going to be anybody with less than 500 employees, and in this case, it's just Frank. So let's go inside and take a look at Frank's store. He's a retailer here in Croswell, and we're going to show you a little bit of small-town Americana's business. So here we are in Keller Home Center with my high school buddy Frank Keller, who I have not seen in 38 years. We went to high school together, and Frank, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, Paul.
And I want to thank you for letting us come into your store and interview you for this. It's a big opportunity for us. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it too. It's a good privilege for us too. Thank you.
So Frank, your parents actually were in the business before you, weren't they?
Yeah, actually my dad started out of the Marine Corps, and he went into the little building on Wells Street around the block here.
Okay, yeah.
And his dad had a tax consultant, an accounting business, and so he started in the back room. He borrowed $100 from his dad, and he started Keller Radio and TV Repair.
So this is
54.
So this is third generation business in Croswell.
So we're actually a third generation. My
Far out.
grandfather was an accountant originally in the town. Yeah.
Far out.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. I remembered your folks being in business here in town, but I didn't remember your grandfather being in business. Maybe it was before my time. So, so you took over the business from your dad, or you bought it from him? Or?
You know, Dad has kind of trusted me to run things, for him. I guess he kind of lets me have a free hand, which I appreciate. And he just comes in and checks on me every once in a while, and he stays active. He wants to.
Good.
He keeps saying I'm retired, but I'm going to stay active. So he does all kinds of things now.
I think you and I will go out the same way. We'll just never quite let go until they close the lid on the box.
That's kind of the way it works. Yes.
So you carry quite a variety of things here. I was thinking it was just appliances.
Yeah, we were very diversified back in the late 70s and 80s, and we kind of skewed things down for a little while and kind of went mainly with appliances for a while. But then we started adding things. We started doing mattresses, and we started back into the towards the building supplies and stuff again. And we're real happy to do that. I had an opportunity to get out and meet a lot of people. I was selling some roofing and supplies on the road, as well as doing this.
Oh, okay.
And it just kind of all blossomed through. And then, as I say, when you come in, there's not too many appliance stores that you walk into and you see a boat.
No, not a lot.
And that is to advertise our Mr. Big Fish approved fishing tackle that we do. And I've worked with some just really great people, Captain Wayne Carpenter, with Extreme Bass Tackle, Carl Waddington, with Red Dirt Spinnerbaits. First-rate people and a first-rate product, and that's our mantra. We want good products and a great value by people that are passionate about making a good product for people.
And so you're expanding the business over time, slowly.
We are. We're doing it in a slow approach, but we are. We're working with a couple different companies and working with some windows, siding, and then also the shingles, and then we'll expand and we'll go from there too. But we're growing in that direction. We'll be more active next year, next season, for that. But we've gotten our feet wet in it. We've got a couple of years experience now.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about small business America, and so I mean you're pretty much a one-man show. You've got one other employee.
I've got lots of helpers, right? I do. I have lots of people that help and lots of people that recommend me.
But I mean, in terms of actual employees.
In terms of actual employees, right. I have my wife does a lot of paperwork for the business at home in her office at the home.
Okay.
That she set up, and she does all our warranty and computer and stuff like that. So she takes care of all of that and tries to figure out all the government paperwork. And we have an accountant too, thank goodness. When we need help, it's Joe, help.
Yeah,
and
right.
he helps us out. But anyway, but right. And then I have some people that I've been working with that work for other companies, but they recommend us.
Sure, but
then I have a helper that's kind of my right-hand man in the technical field. James Willis has been helping me set up some of our technical end of things.
Okay, but this is still a sole proprietorship, or?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I'll put this on screen to make sure I get the numbers right, but about 70% of small business in America are sole proprietorships. They're companies owned by just one person or one family, and like Frank was saying, his wife does a lot of the bookkeeping and work, whatnot, right out of their home office. Not an uncommon thing. Small business makes up 54% of all the sales in the United States. It makes up 55% of the jobs in the United States. And since the 1980s, while big business has laid off about 4 million people, small business has employed 8 million people. So small business is growing in America. So those numbers, if you see this video at some point in the future, are probably going to be skewed. It's growing more with the passage of time. So this is a shining example, again, of a sole proprietorship that's been passed down essentially through the generations. Now, you must be struggling with the economy. The construction that they're doing here on the street has kept customers away. I mean, it's got to have made life tough.
Well, we have the best customers in the world, and they call me up. They say, I know you have a little warehouse around the corner. They say, I need a washer. What would you recommend that I buy? I'll just meet you there, and it's just the best way that I can get there, and meet them there, and they pick it up.
Yeah.
Or we have some local delivery that we do also.
Now, what my viewers don't realize is that while we're having this conversation, it feels like there's an earthquake, because literally right outside there's a steamroller rolling asphalt in front of the store. As I was saying earlier, the streets have been torn up, and it's made it very difficult for people to navigate in town and to get to all the local businesses. And literally the floor feels like we're having an earthquake here. So, all right, you were saying that you get out on the road and you work with other contractors.
Yeah, we realized that this was going to happen, and we knew this was going to be devastating. We're on the wrong side. I didn't think a river access, Black River's right behind us,
right.
And I didn't think a river access was going to be the answer.
No.
Although it would have been nice, because then I could have just launched my boat and went fishing later. But I didn't think that was going to work out real well for the actual practicality of the business.
Yeah, not in this day and age, yeah.
I knew that we were going to have to rely on some other things and getting some jobs and doing some things outside of the box.
Right.
And just networking with people and just seeing what can happen when you work together with people and other businesses, it just kind of started the ball rolling, and it made that, although this is a hardship for the town, the businesses, it
Sure,
certainly is.
sure, yeah.
It certainly is. It's cut down traffic. It's made difficult for customers to get in, to get
Right.
goods and services. It has. But at the other time, it's forced us to think outside the box. So when you look at it that way, it is a good thing, and it allowed us to put together some networking and some other things to work with that in the long run are going to pay good dividends for us.
And this one of the things I really like about this, and in a sense, I guess I'm almost jealous, is we've got a store here that's what 2,000 square feet or 3,000 square feet.
Approximately.
Approximately, it's not a big place, and this is how you earn your living. This is it.
This is it.
Whereas
And a little
I have
fishing.
to actually go out and work.
And a little fishing too.
I have to go out and work for somebody else, at least for now. And so this is the American dream, quote unquote, to own your own business and to make a living at it. You're not getting rich. The streets aren't being paved with gold, incidentally. That is asphalt out there. But you can, in fact, if you persevere, make a good living, a decent, hard living, owning your own business. Now, in this case, Frank does retail. In future episodes, we're going to talk about manufacturing and services and those sorts of things. But yeah, many people are in retail. I mean, and so the competition's got to make it a little tough too, I suppose.
Well, there's lots of competition, but one thing the small businessman always has is he answers directly to the customer.
Good point.
We don't have to answer to a board of directors. Okay, we don't have to go in there with quaking and knees knocking, worrying about we didn't make enough on the bottom line.
Right.
And so we can be more attentive and more assertive towards meeting the need of the customer and doing what's better for the customer. Because in the long run, that's what's best for us too. Because the word of mouth,
Yep.
small business people don't have deep pockets
Yeah.
to advertise. They can't spend the thousands and tens of thousands and millions of dollars to draw people in.
No, you've got to rely on goodwill.
It's got to be goodwill, and it's got to be those customers that are returning and recommending. And so that's what we build it on. And there's not that boardroom experience. We don't have to go in there. If our bottom line has to be a little bit thinner to sell the products that we want to sell, that we know are best for the customer, we can do that. We can absorb that, and we can make that happen. And that's what we want to do. Good products, good prices, great value for customers. That's just the recipe of how it's going to work.
How long is the boat going to stay?
The boat's going to go pretty soon, and we're going to actually replace that with, I can't really reveal the surprise for you.
Oh, okay.
But maybe a future.
We may have to come back.
Maybe we'll take a picture and you can put it up on, but we're going to, we want to do something else because it's been neat, because everybody's comes in and they're like, why is there a boat in here? And then I get to tell them about our fishing tackle and everything that we do there. And so, it's just been a neat thing.
Yeah. So now, we're gonna take a little travel around here, and I want you to see that this really is not like a large store.
Nope.
Matter of fact, I can actually calculate 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22 feet wide.
Yep. To the far back wall, it's probably about 80 foot. We aren't even going to let you go in that back room.
Yeah, maybe 80 feet to the back room, and I say, it's very cozy. It's got that whole small business, and I just committed a cardinal sin in videography, by the way, everybody, and that's I crossed across. So now you're disoriented because we're on the opposite sides of each other, but it's YouTube, so you're going to forgive me, right? But you can see around the store, it's not a gigantic place, but refrigerators, freezers, washers, dryers, a boat. Is the boat for sale?
And the boat, I've had a lot of people make offers, but the boat is not for sale, no?
No. But, and we're coming up, incidentally, everybody. November 30th is Small Business Saturday.
It's coming up.
Quite a big deal here, certainly in the United States. And it's where everybody's encouraged to shop in your local small businesses, which is, it's a good thing, because we depend, our economy, our national economy depends on small businesses. Whether it seems like it or not, it really does. Well, there's a lot of big names out there that you're all familiar with that sell things around the world. They're international, and global companies, I already told you the numbers, we depend on small business here in the United States. And as do, I imagine, they do in many, many countries. So this idea that in the United States everything is the big chains or the huge super centers is just not really true. Yes, they are ubiquitous, but they are not what is driving our economy. This is the man that's driving our economy, and others, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions more like him, that are driving the economy here in the United States.
Again, and I would add too, we try, and I know many small business people that try to do as much business with all the goods that are made here as they possibly can purchase. That's my first question I ask of every new model that I see. Is it made here? Where is it made? And I am just tickled to see companies kind of working back this way. Definitely our appliances are coming back this way to U.S. production, and we have very strong product in appliance industry built U.S.
Yeah.
And we are seeing that return somewhat, and but it is a global market. It is a global economy. So every different brand, everybody always says to me, well, what brand do I buy that's made
Right.
here? Well, they all have foreign-made product.
Right.
But the good thing is we can skew through it, and we can look for those specific models that are made here. And we have the time to do that as small business people, to do that. We can do that. And again, even if we have to pay $20 more or $25 more for that product being made here, if it skews our bottom line just a little bit or skinnies up our bottom line just a little bit, we can absorb that, and we can take care of, we can still take care of the
Sure.
customers.
And it is, Frank said, in a global economy, there is virtually no way any product is made in any one country. There's components from everywhere. And that's, in the greater scheme of things, that's a good thing. Obviously each nation, we're all proud of our nations, and we want to support our own economies. And so there's a large push to sell the products that we make. I think that my colleagues overseas feel the same way, that you are proud of the products you make, and you want to sell the products that you make. And so while we do sell a lot of products here in the United States, and there is a big push in the United States, I think that, largely with small business people, to sell American-made products, that we do carry things from all over the world. And I'm sure many of you, wherever you're watching this, probably are getting products which are either wholly or partially made in the United States. So it has become a very global thing when you talk about products. It's almost impossible to say this is made here or this is made there, unless it's a relatively, what do I want to say, a single item, like beer, or a hammer perhaps, yeah. But once you get into any sort of thing with complex circuitry and machinery and metal form parts, they're going to be made all over the world. The parts shipped together and assembled and distributed from someplace there. Now, you're launching a website.
We're in the process of launching that website.
Right, you're in the process of building the site. It hasn't been launched yet.
Many hurdles that come along, and one of the big hurdles in launching the website was, how do we keep this, we kind of refer to our small business, we like to refer to ourselves as the mom and pop, and mom and pop likes to take care of their customers.
Right.
So we like to take care of our customers. We like, we're finding that unit a home, and we need a good home for that unit to go into, so that unit can service, that dryer can service that home, and then they're going to take care of it, it's going to take care of them. And it's just, and I say things like this and people laugh, but it is really the way we kind of look at it.
I'm not actually laughing. Our location manager, Maggie McClellan, actually graduated with Frank, and she had mentioned that one of this is how you think of all these things, is I'm going to find this thing a home. And I never thought of it in those terms. When you care about your products, I want to find it a home, and I want to find the people, my customers, the right thing that's going to service their needs.
Right.
So, and that's one of the things you get with small business that
Right.
you may not get at a super center, is
Right.
that I need you to have a thing that you're going to be pleased with, because, I just live around the block from you, and I've known you for 38 years, and
Right, but when you talk about a website and you talk about selling on the internet and then reaching out, and we're going to mainly just focus on the Midwest at first.
right,
We're going to target about 11 states to get started. And the reason behind that is because we'll grow it as it's able to grow, and we can keep the level of service high. We had to go out and we had to find people that were capable of providing a service of getting that product to those customers' homes and taking care of the customer the way we would want them taken care of. And so that took a great deal of legwork. We talked to a lot of different companies, and we have got it narrowed down to about 3 that have come to the top of the cream. They've surfaced.
right.
And so we're looking at those 3, and then we're wanting to have different levels of service so that somebody that truly just wants to buy it because it's a bargain and it can be shipped to their curbside, wonderful. We can do that
Right,
too.
right.
But somebody that actually wants to buy something that's maybe a higher end piece, and they want it brought in and they want it put
Right.
into the room where they want it and have it unpacked, and what they call a white glove service, we want to be able to offer that option too as well.
So we're not talking about just, okay, I'm going to have a web presence now with name, address, this is what we carry. You're talking about e-commerce.
We would like to actually get into the e-commerce side
So
of it.
this is
yes.
a substantial quantum leap, if you will, to use
This is a crazy leap. Another thing that came along with all of this, and because of the fishing and stuff that I'm doing, General Electric came along and said, well, we would like to deliver for most of the eastern side of the state for you. And so they got us looking into that also. And they do a factory direct delivery. It never comes to our door. It goes right from the factory, comes up here from Louisville, lands in Lake Orion, and then from there they bring it out, and it's a factory team, brings it out, sets it up. It's beautiful service. It's a wonderful thing. And that just grew
Okay,
to the
well,
next leap.
a little explanation, a number of things I'd like to interject here. First, Lake Orion, you say is their distribution center.
There's a company there that is the company that they've hired to do the work for them, that GE is basically in control of that, and sets that up. So it is like, if you will, a cross dock for them,
Right.
an SDS, an RDC type
Right.
of thing. Sure.
So, I can't resist the opportunity to give a shout out to Vlad Tartarly down there, one of our loyal subscribers and viewers down in Lake Orion. Vlad, will be down to see you eventually, and maybe now this will be even more reason for us to get down there. We'll get a shot at this. I want to make an issue about General Electric. I can't imagine that there is anybody watching this that is not familiar with General Electric. Huge multinational company. Owns NBC, who in turn owns Universal Studios, which I used to work for down in Florida not too many years ago. So this is a great opportunity to where small business is partnering with a huge business, with big business, to service the needs of the entire customer base. That's fantastic.
So in the process of meeting all the people, I give GE a lot of credit. Some of the upper management people recognized what I was doing, and they said, well, you're meeting a lot of people. We need to help your venue. And that's how they gave me a territory that encompassed more than just my local.
Right. And I don't want this episode or this whole series to come across as anti-big business. We are certainly very proud of the large corporations that have developed here, especially for those of us that grew up in the state of Michigan, with the automotive industry having its roots here in Michigan and playing such a huge role in the national and global economy. Big business is good. There's nothing wrong with big business, but it's the importance that I'm trying to make a point of here, that how much of the economy we don't realize is powered by small business. And as I said, this is small. Again,
Yes.
what do we figure? 3,000 square feet tops. Now, to kind of lighten it up a little bit, when we were going to high school, Did you kind of figure you'd move right into the family business, or did you think that you'd do something else?
All I can say is, I can't believe how much Dad got smarter as I got older.
Yeah, there's an old adage here in the United States. Yeah, when I was 16, I thought my father was an idiot. When I was 21, I was amazed how much my father learned in the last 5 years.
Yes, absolutely. And no, I've had the privilege to work with Dad, certainly as a child growing up and working with him, but and then, just coming right into the business and going into it. I was glad that he, made that opportunity available to me. And we've always gotten along well because I think we both kind of know when it's time to shut up. And, and that's a big thing, because he's very independent and very strong-minded. And of course, he handed that down to me. And so, but we just learned how to, when enough was enough. And we've always just gotten along amazingly. In fact, we've had people comment many times that they're amazed how well we've always gotten along. And I'm very thankful for that.
So one of the reasons I'm especially glad to be doing this episode, when you come into high school, and I bet happens everywhere in the world, when you come in your first year in high school, upperclassmen don't always treat you the best. But there is a handful of people who treat you civilly, and Frank was one of the guys who always was very, very kind to me, very civil, very nice to me. And so young folks, remember, some of us carry that for a long time. If you were a jerk, we're going to remember that too. And Frank was always good to me. So that's one of the reasons I especially was pleased when he agreed to do this interview.
I think maybe what he's saying is I treated everybody the same, but I didn't think I treated everybody that badly.
Frank, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to come in and visit you here at Keller Home Center in Croswell, Michigan.
Yes.
And everybody, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you'll enjoy this episode. We hope you'll take time to subscribe above. If you've got questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. I will get back to everyone as soon as I possibly can. We always want your comments. I hope you pick like and you tell us you enjoyed this episode. And as always, thank you for watching.